In the heart of bustling metropolises and across the tranquil countryside, a silent crisis looms. Welcome to a world facing an unprecedented challenge: population collapse. In this thought-provoking journey, we delve into the untold story of Europe and Asia, where dwindling birth rates and an aging population threaten the very fabric of societies. Join us as we uncover the intricate factors behind this crisis, exploring the economic, social, and cultural consequences of a shrinking population. We will hear the stories of families grappling with the decision to have children, the struggles faced by young professionals juggling career aspirations and family life, and the impact on healthcare, pensions, and the economies. But it is not just about numbers. We will examine the deeper implications, the changing dynamics of communities, the reimagining of gender roles, and the potential shifts in global power. Through conversations with leading experts and demographers, we will gain insights into the root causes, from changing social norms and urbanization to economic factors and evolving aspirations. Yet, amidst the crisis, glimmers of hope emerge. We will showcase innovative policies, family-friendly initiatives, and bold ideas aiming to reverse the tide and rejuvenate societies. Prepare to be challenged, to question the status quo, and to join the conversation on the future of Europe, Asia, and beyond. This is Population Collapse, the crisis in Europe and Asia, a compelling exploration that will make you reconsider the very essence of what it means to build a thriving and sustainable society. Just stick around when a singer unfolds. To start things off, let's understand the basics. Population collapse or decline is used to refer to a long-term decrease in the total number of individuals residing in a specific region or country. It is typically measured by comparing the number of births and deaths within a given population, taking into account factors such as migration. Several key factors contribute to population decline. One of the primary drivers is the declining fertility rate. For the last 70 years, fertility rates have decreased worldwide, with a total number of more than 50%. In many regions, including Europe and several parts of Asia, birth rates have fallen below replacement levels, which is generally considered to be around 2.1 children per woman in developed countries and 3.5 children for each woman in countries that are still growing. As a result, the number of births is insufficient to replace the existing population, something that is leading to an overall decline. Many European countries have experienced persistently low birth rates throughout recent decades. For example, as of 2020, countries like Spain, Italy, and Greece recorded some of the lowest fertility rates in the world. I am talking about total fertility rates going below replacement levels among women. But also, several other countries in East Asia such as Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan continue to incur low birth rates. Japan has one of the lowest fertility rates globally, which is only 1.34 children per woman, according to surveys that came out during 2020. As much as low birth rates are considered to be the top-tier barrier in population growth worldwide, the issue also has multiple factors that contribute to it. These include societal changes such as increased urbanization, women's empowerment in education and the workforce, and emphasizing career advancement or personal goals over starting a family. Also, economic factors such as high cost of living and the challenges of balancing work and family life, which has impacted fertility rates in many ways. Not forgetting lower child mortality and a greater cost of raising children. Another factor that contributes to population decline is an aging population. As healthcare improves and life expectancy increases, People are now living longer. I know, I want people to live longer or even forever. The problem here is low birth rates combined with longer lifespans lead to an imbalance between the number of older individuals and younger working age populations. This demographic shift is one of the reasons why healthcare and social welfare systems are strained, since there are fewer working individuals to support the needs of the elderly population. Europe has a rapidly aging population according to Eurostat, which is the statistical office of the European Union. The proportion of people aged 65 and above in the EU is projected to increase from 20.5% in 2020 to almost 30% in 2050. In countries like Germany, Italy, and Portugal, the median age is already quite high. As a continent, Asia is another victim trapped by this crisis. The United Nations projects that by 2050, the proportion of people aged 65 and above in Asia will more than triple, reaching 22.3% of the total population. Japan in particular has one of the oldest populations globally, with a median age of over 48 years. While Japan is famous for its old population and was already topping the list in 2022, other Asian economies are in the middle of a significant shift since life expectation has rapidly improved over the last decades and continues to do so. Population decline can have wide-ranging implications for societies and their economies. A decrease in population can result in labor shortages, reduced economic productivity, and an increased burden on social welfare systems. It can also have implications for housing markets, consumer spending, and government finances. In addition, a decline in population is known to affect the cultural and social fabric of a region, since having fewer young people leads to a loss of diversity, vitality, and innovation. Your governments and policymakers often grapple with the problem of population decline, and so they employ various strategies to address the issue. Such strategies often involve measures to encourage childbirth through family-friendly policies such as parental leave, childcare subsidies, and financial incentives. On top of that, immigration policies may be adjusted to attract skilled and unskilled workers who can fill so many gaps in the labor market. Population decline is a serious issue, and so understanding and responding to it is crucial for ensuring long-term sustainability and the well-being of countries. You see, recognizing factors that are driving this trend forward and implementing appropriate policies, nations can strive to mitigate various challenges and harness opportunities that come with a changing demographic landscape. Trust me, we will delve more into those potential solutions later on in this video, so make sure to stick around. But for now, let's look at some of the other factors that are making this crisis possible in the first place. Apart from declining fertility rates and soaring numbers of older persons, population collapse is made possible by immigration. For clarification, there is also immigration, which describes individuals moving into a population. But I'm talking about immigration for now, which describes individuals exiting a population, meaning if immigration rates are higher than immigration rates, the population increases because more people are coming to a country than those leaving and staying. Whereas if immigration rates are higher than immigration rates, the population size decreases because more people are leaving a country than those coming in. Often, immigration can lead to population decline in the country of origin through several mechanisms. Certain countries in Eastern Europe such as Romania, Bulgaria, and Lithuania have experienced significant immigration in recent years. I will give you an example. Romania had a net immigration rate of -7 immigrants per 1,000 of its population back in 2019, indicating a population decline due to immigration. On the other side, Asia has witnessed substantial immigration, particularly countries like the Philippines, India, and China. These countries have been significant sources of global labor immigration, with individuals seeking job opportunities and economic prospects in other countries. All that is only a hint at the very true challenges of population growth. But you already know, that is not how I do things here. That being said, let's get into detail if we are to best understand the consequences of these declining populations. In other words, subscribe to the channel, sit back, and let me unfold all of it. Now, in countries where population is declining, many sectors are facing implications. Having a decreasing workforce means fewer workers are available to contribute to the country's economic output. This can lead to a decline in productivity, as there may not be enough skilled workers to meet the demands of businesses and industries. Another thing is, a shrinking workforce creates labor shortages, which can be a critical blow to the country's key sectors, meaning industries such as healthcare, manufacturing, and construction are likely to incur most of the damage. All this results into increased material costs, delayed projects, and limited economic growth. Population decline therefore diminishes the supply of workers, and then demand for labor tends to exceed the available pool, something that makes wages and labor costs extremely high. At such times, businesses struggle to afford higher wages and can impact profitability and potentially result in reduced investment and expansion. These consequences will mean fewer people working, therefore tax revenues automatically decline, and so government budgets are strained, but also governments meet the limited ability to fund essential services, infrastructure projects, and social programs. Apart from those economic implications, a declining population also has social implications. That is true. A narrowing workforce often accompanies an aging population, where a large proportion of the population is composed of older individuals. Such demographic shifts lead to increased healthcare and pension costs, as well as a need for more elderly care services. In addition, as the number of retirees grow relative to the number of workers, social security systems face financial strains. And if there are no sufficient funds to support retirement benefits and the healthcare needs of the aging population, governments tend to reduce your benefits or increase taxes that you have to pay. And you already know, a strained social security system and economic challenges together create tensions between different generations, meaning young workers may feel burdened by higher taxes to support retirees, while older individuals may worry about the sustainability of their retirement benefits. On top of that, a declining population along with diminishing workforce both result in a tighter labor market that gives workers more bargaining power, something that is known to bring about changes in workplace dynamics, such as increased competition for skilled workers and potentially improved working conditions. In Europe, Germany is one of the countries facing a reduced workforce and an aging population. The country also has a low birth rate and yet a high life expectancy. This resulted in a declining working age population, a demographic shift that has led to labor shortages in various industries, particularly healthcare and skilled manufacturing. And in attempts to address this issue, Germany has implemented policies to attract skilled immigrants and encourage older workers to remain in the workforce. This has long been a solution to counter workforce problems brought about by declining populations in some countries in Europe and as far as Canada. But in recent years, the trend is picking momentum, even in countries like Sweden, New Zealand, Australia, Switzerland, and Norway. Italy is another country in Europe struggling with the challenges of an aging population and strained social security systems. The country also has a large proportion of older individuals and low birth rates. The strain on their social security system has resulted in higher public debt and limited resources to support pensions and healthcare for retirees. The country has been implementing reforms to increase retirement ages and encourage longer working lives by delaying workers' retirement, which France and other European countries are now enforcing. In Asia, Japan is a prominent example of a country with a rapidly aging population and a decreasing workforce. As I mentioned earlier, Japan has one of the highest life expectancies globally but also the lowest birth rate. As a result, there is a significant burden on the country's social security, pension, and healthcare systems. Efforts have been attempted to make things better despite the crisis. Japan has been promoting policies to encourage workforce participation among women, older individuals, and foreign workers. Another Asian country where this issue is significantly noticed is South Korea. In South Korea, the impact of a narrowing workforce and strained social security systems are felt by the old and young. The country's birth rate has been consistently low for quite some years, leading to a rapidly aging population. The strain on their social security system has resulted in increased pension liabilities and concerns about funding healthcare for the elderly. I am sure that if you didn't skip out on anything so far, you now understand how big of a problem population decline is. I mean, from Europe's reducing birth rates to Asia's demographic shifts, the world faces a silent crisis as population collapse looms large, challenging economies, social structures, and the future of all mankind. This, however, cannot be the end, but then we will have to consider these potential solutions if we are to pose a fight against this spreading problem. The good thing is, there is a ton of potential solutions, but since I don't intend to waste your time, these key solutions will be enough, at least for this video. First, implementing family-friendly policies that support families such as affordable childcare, parental leave, and flexible work arrangements. That alone can encourage people to have more children and balance work and family life effectively. Additionally, introducing financial incentives like tax benefits, child allowances, and grants for education and housing can alleviate the financial burden. Second, countries where population decline is on the rise such as Italy, China, Portugal, South Korea, Poland, Indonesia, Pakistan, Romania, Japan, and Greece should consider easing immigration policies and in turn create more welcoming environments for immigrants, as this can help offset declining population numbers. That is not the only benefit there. Encouraging skilled migrants and providing support for their integration even in fading populations has proved to contribute towards economic growth and diversity. Third, now this has been attempted, but for critically declining populations, we should see more of it. Education and awareness. It is obvious that through promoting comprehensive sex education and family planning programs, individuals are empowered to make informed decisions about family size, as education raises awareness about the benefits of having children, and so debunking misconceptions surrounding making babies is something that can help change societal attitudes towards population growth. On top of that, healthcare and maternity support provisions should be more funded to ensure access to quality healthcare, prenatal and postnatal care, but also supporting new parents can help improve the well-being of families and even encourage population growth. Fourth, elderly care and support. This is so important. As populations age, providing adequate elderly care and support services becomes crucial. This can include affordable healthcare, accessible retirement options, and social support networks to enhance the quality of life for the elderly. But as many journey on and others retire, investing in technological advancements and automation can offset labor shortages caused by aging. Look at Japan and China. They are already at it, and it seems to help increase their productivity and eliminate some gaps in their workforce. Lastly, I think that addressing societal and cultural factors that contribute to declining birth rates is also important. This move can involve promoting gender equality, reducing social stigmas around working parents, and challenging traditional gender roles to encourage a more equitable distribution of caregiving responsibilities. If I have left out anything, it is simply because of saving your time, so feel free to leave that down in the comment section for others to see. As much as my focus has been on Europe and Asia in this video, population decline is a global problem. That is true. It's just that things are worse on these two continents. If you were to ask how things compare with other regions of the world, the answer to such a question would look like this. First, allow me to remind you that the population decline in Europe and Asia differs from other regions of the world, not only in terms of its causes but also its magnitude. You will find that in Europe and Asia, population decline is primarily driven by low birth rates and an aging population. Take countries like Germany, Italy, and Spain for example. Germany has one of the lowest birth rates globally, with an average of 1.5 children per woman. In Asia, countries like Japan, South Korea, and Singapore face similar challenges. Japan has a rapidly aging population and a fertility rate of around 1.34 children per woman. And as I mentioned earlier, that is below the replacement level. Furthermore, factors such as increased urbanization, changing societal norms, Delayed marriage and career aspirations among women have contributed to lower fertility rates in these countries. On the other hand, in some other regions, population growth may be limited by factors like high infant mortality rates, inadequate healthcare, or socioeconomic challenges. Europe and Asia have been experiencing significant population decline or stagnation. According to the data made public by Eurostat, the population of the EU was projected to peak around 2021, but instead, it gradually declined. In Asia, while overall population is still growing, certain countries are already facing population decline. Japan's population started decreasing significantly back in 2010, and by 2060, it is estimated to decrease by almost a third. South Korea and Singapore are also experiencing declining birth rates and an aging population. Several countries in these regions are witnessing fertility rates below the replacement level, and if you still remember, that is around 2.1 children for every woman. But because that is not the case of the books, there is a decrease in their overall population size. In contrast, other regions like Africa and some parts of the Middle East continue to experience high population growth rates, which comes with their own set of challenges and opportunities, but that is a topic for another day. Economic and social implications of population decline vary across regions. In Europe and Asia, for example, population decline poses challenges to economic growth, productivity, and sustainability. Take Germany, for example. The country's labor force is expected to decrease further in the coming decades, something that will affect its economic competitiveness. Challenges such as a diminishing workforce, increased dependency ratio, slower economic growth, and strained healthcare and pension systems necessitate policy reforms and innovative approaches to adapt to a changing demographic landscape. But in regions with high population growth, the focus may be on issues related to providing basic services, ensuring sustainable development, and managing resources effectively. As we conclude, this video aims to shed light on the pressing issue of population decline that ravages Europe and Asia the most. We have seen how low birth rates and an aging population pose significant challenges to these regions. The consequences of this problem on economies, healthcare systems, and social structures demand immediate attention and action. I stress that the magnitude of this issue cannot be understated. Europe and Asia stand at a critical juncture where declining populations threaten future prosperity and stability, and so it is crucial for governments, communities, and individuals just like you and I to unite and tackle this challenge head-on. So what can we do? How can we reverse the tide of population decline? I think it's everything I said already. We can start with creating family-friendly policies that support work-life balance and provide incentives for having children, fostering inclusive societies that welcome immigrants, value diversity, and ensure equal opportunities for all despite who you are, where you come from, or what you look like. Not forgetting education and awareness programs that can empower individuals to make informed decisions about family planning and challenge societal norms that hinder population growth. But these are just the first steps. The path forward requires collective efforts, innovative solutions, and a shared commitment to secure a vibrant and a sustainable future for Europe, Asia, and the world at large. So, I invite you to dig deeper into this topic, engage in discussions, and explore more potential solutions. Ask yourself this question: what role can you play in shaping a better tomorrow? Together, let's confront the challenge of population decline and pave the way for thriving societies that embrace the opportunities of a changing world. Something you can start right now by liking this video so it gets to reach more people, and subscribing to the channel. Why not? Lastly, make sure to watch other videos like this one right here, somewhere on the screen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.